And we're back with the 416 podcast. My name is Pajama Pants, and that is Brad Chester.
This guy.
And today we are doing a reaction video to the Secret Level series on Amazon Prime. And we're obviously going to focus on episode 5, which is the coolest episode.
Okay.
The bestest episode.
That's awesome.
And
it might be seriously, I really like this and I wanted to do this and I've been bitching at you for a while because I wanted to do it. You're like, we should probably do something else. And I was like, no, Bad Alan, no. And
this is not true.
It is 100% true.
I also wanted to do a reaction.
Actually, we're going to do a reaction that we kept putting it off, clearly. And
okay, valid. That's valid.
And one of the biggest things that I like about this is that I think this, out of anything, is the best thing that captures the grim, dark nature of 40K. You know what I mean? It's one of the things we get a feel for how dark it is, but we also get a feel for how much better than regular people. These are like warriors. Like the guys they're fighting are warriors. They're not just some random guy. They didn't just fight 2 accountants and stuff. We'll talk about that when we start watching the video. But like in the game, a lot of times, Marines will be just killed by the most random idiots because it's a game and you have to do from lore to the game itself. And I think this did a good job of just showing how a one squad, a kill team of guys will just wreck regular dudes. You know what I mean? Like regular warrior dudes. It's not like they're just in the mall.
Yep.
Like they're not going to the Gap, just killing people, folding shirts.
I have asked several friends of mine who have don't know anything about Warhammer, to watch this. I've sent it to numerous people over the last like 2 months or so. I said, hey, you need to watch Secret Level episode 5. And they're like, well, don't I have to watch episodes like 1 through 4? I'm like, no. Forget everything else. Just watch episode 5 and
skip all of it.
And the reason why I do it is I think the cinematography and the capturing of the 40K essence is, I think, perfect in this, 20-minute episode. But in addition to that, it's just super high quality animation. Like the animation is just so good. It makes Astartes not look as good. Like this is the best thing ever.
It's awesome.
From an ever from an animation standpoint of 40K, this is better than all of the video games. This is better than all of the cutscenes from all of the different things. This is just the best. This is the best Warhammer 40K animated thing put on film. So I don't know when Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise, I guess, are going to release their show, but this is, in my opinion, amazing. And honestly, if they were to make a series, I don't know like how, maybe they can do some like Kane type of series, but like it would be amazing. I think it'd be a showstopper. I think it would definitely get a lot of views.
Well, you want Caiaphas Kane. I'd really like to see him be a rogue trader. I think that you can just interact with so many different races and everything else.
I like Caiaphas Kane. I like Caiaphas Kane because he also interacts with all the races. He interacts with literally every race through his series, and he's funny. He's funny. He's gonna get all the people.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like Mandalorian of like Warhammer 40K. Like it's gonna be something where like families can watch. It's gonna be entertaining. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be action packed. It's gonna be grim and dark and all of that. It has that tone, but it also has this other depth. So let's watch this episode today. Let's give our review. We're
gonna yap over it.
I'm excited.
We'll pause a lot.
I'm excited to talk about it.
And they show no fear.
What a great title.
It is. You know who else should do a water effect?
Humans are born prey. Fragile. Afraid. The Imperium selects a chosen few. Children, we break.
This is Matarius, right? Talking about recruiting young Titus.
Well, this is, they recruit young Titus after everybody gets smoked around.
Those that survive
are
reborn with the strength to level cities, to conquer worlds. But power must be controlled. Fear forged into obedience, into faith. Centuries ago, I chose a child filled with pain and rage. A child who had never known fear.
Pause me. Now this starts us off with a fantastic deal because they were talking about this is because Titus is a couple hundred years old. What we're going to see him.
Yeah, several hundred years old. Yeah,
yeah. Even as a kid, he gives Carrie the One 0 fucks. Like no 0 are given right here. He just like a 9-foot dude's in front of him, just most terrifying thing ever. And he's just like, yeah, good to hear, bro. Like if I could lift this, I would dong you in the head real quick.
Yeah, and keep in mind this. he's like a young teenager here. I think it looks like.
Yeah,
and a chainsaw is like 55 to 90 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. Easy.
I mean, it's a full, it's full. It has the chain. It's got a motor inside it. And the biggest thing about this is like so many. You got to figure that like people they only choose the best, but also going through the transformation that makes you a super soldier kills 20% at minimum of anybody that they recruit.
Yeah,
and that's with the best numbers.
Yeah, So it opens up. The tone is grim. It's introspective. It's setting up this mentor-mentee thing, right? It's already talking about how they're recruiting Space Marines. The audience member really doesn't know that yet. They don't know what a Space Marine is yet. They haven't seen the next scenes here, but it's trying to set up the fact that like, okay, we take these very, rare people at a very young age that really don't give a shit. Like look at his eyes right there. Like he does not give a shit. Covered in blood. And these are the people that just are able to start the process of becoming a Space Marine. Keep in mind, not even all of these people make it to Space Marine.
Barely.
Yeah.
And you got to think that we go way past this, but eventually he's in. If you played Space Marine 2, he's in Deathwatch.
Hey, don't spoil Space Marine 2. Let's get through this. Very excited for the next scene.
Of my way, old man.
Shit talking, love it.
We went way in the future now.
Well, that's his first thing when he meets him is get out of my way, old man.
Yeah, this is Matari. That's who that is. That's Matarius, right?
Yeah,
he's the leader, squad leader.
Yep.
So projected mortality. So this is really important, right? So projected mortality, right? So here's the squad team. You have all their names, and then it comes up and it has Titus's name, second company lieutenant, right? Projected mortality, absolute. So these guys are going into a mission where the mission parameters are being calculated, and it's telling them they're gonna die, like, which I think is like, this is probably missed by maybe 95% of people who are watching this for the first time at least. But when you watch it back, it's pretty cool. It's like little subtle details like this.
Yeah, and they all know this, and also they just go through with this. This is just what Marines do. You're just like, oh, we're all supposed to die? Whatever, I guess it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I confirm.
I love the candles and the setup there. Very Adeptus Mechanicus kind of style. Brad, who's the statue of in the background there?
I think it's just supposed to be the Emperor.
Is that supposed to be the Emperor? I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. It's just very, it's very, it's very beaten. I never saw that before.
I love this because we don't get to see it a lot. You don't see it. Obviously, it's not, in the game or anything. But one of the biggest things is it's a holy rite. Like your armor, putting your armor on is an actual religious thing, basically, because you revere your equipment. You know what I mean? So it's such a big deal, and they don't really. We just see them always armored up and whatnot. This is a full-on ceremony every time you get in your armor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's also gonna die, right? He's like going to battle to die.
Yeah, but they do this but I'm saying they do this when they're ready to go. You know what I mean? This is the whole thing. You have to. It's so Dark Age Inquisition style at this current time in 40K. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you have to say 15 prayers to start the Land Raider up because you need to push the button. This is what they do with the armor. This is what it's all about. You know what I mean?
So they're going to destroy this Chaos Relic. But the thing that I think is really funny, and I think a lot of people won't get this, and I'll keep my mouse off the screen here, but in the bottom right-hand corner and behind the helmet there in the back, you see the servo skulls are kind of just flying in the air. And I had a hard time explaining to my friends that the servo skulls are actually like these little robot helpers, and they're not evil because they look super evil and super creepy. So people always think they're evil. So they're always, every time that someone sees one of those, like, oh, these are the bad guys. It's like, no, this is not the bad guy. These are the good guys.
Well, I mean, really, they're not the bad guys.
Well, I guess bad guys is subjective. There's far badder guys than these guys.
That is true.
So on the spectrum of badness, these guys are on the good side.
On the goodish side.
Yeah, I mean, it's the grim dark future, right? So there really isn't a good side. I mean, you name me a race that's good. I don't know anyone that's good.
There's no race that's good.
Yeah, so they're on the bestest of the bad, I guess. But yeah, the servo skulls are creepy. So all right, what an epic ship too, by the way. The barge is just huge. Oh, here's another thing that I want to point out that I had to explain to people as well. So the things in their head, those are not bullets.
Nope.
So those
they're connectors.
Yeah. They're also a symbolism of years of service. So each one of those is 100 years of service. So that's
it can be just that, but they have the connector pieces in them.
What connector pieces? I don't know this. I don't know about this. Tell me about this.
Yeah, your helmet, he has all kinds of stuff on his sides and stuff like that. The thing is depending on what you have for your arrays, you know what I mean? Depends on what kind of pieces you have in your head. Because a lot of people have different servos implanted depending on what they're looking through. If they're getting targeting, like everybody's got their target array and everything they see. A lot of people don't realize, I mean, millions of people won't do this, but a lot of people don't realize that Marines array gives like a bananas amount of information. Like Marines are super fast, super strong, but they're also actually super smart. So they have to take in a crazy amount of information every time they're on the field. And a lot of times different people have different layouts that they have, whether you're in charge, whether you're a sniper, whether you're doing close combat and stuff like that, they'll have different things that they want to see.
Oh, wow. I had no idea about that, Brad. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I thought they were simply just, the honor badges. That's all I thought they were. I didn't realize that they have anything to do with any type of interactivity.
I mean, some of them are bad. Well, some people have just like, this is flashy, cool stuff. And other times they have different.
Yeah, I thought that once you get 100 years, you get one. And then every 100 years, you get another one, which signifies why he's the leader of the squad, right? He's got 4. He's been around for 400 years. Right. And keep in mind, like, this is a Tuesday and their mission is absolute death. Right. He's been doing this for 400 years. So it's like really important to like remember. And then you see Titus, same thing. So like this squad, like what they're trying to signify, I think here with those is that this is a badass unit. These are some dudes that have been around and have seen some things. Imagine you're going on a mission. You've been doing this for 400 years. Wow. Look at this. Look at this scene. This is breathtaking. Oh, look at this.
Awesome looking.
So sick. So they're in the hangar bay. The hangar bay was amazing. I'm going to rewind it real quick. I want to see that hangar bay one more time. Let me pause right in the hangar bay. But you got these guys that have been around for hundreds of years walking through this
together. A lot of times they've been working with the same people forever.
And it's crazy. And they're walking through this hangar bay. Are those guardsmen? What are those? Are those Marines? I can't tell. So those are Thunderhawks, by the way.
Thunderhawks.
And giant tanks. So the Thunderhawks are these big ships in the front. They're gigantic ships. In the Warhammer 40K tabletop miniature game, you never see those. Those are not played with. They're so big. They're like the biggest models that we make, pretty much.
Look at the comparison.
Yeah, they second biggest model.
So many people
in the game.
And then the Razorbacks are on the left.
Yeah, Razorbacks. I see the Razorback. Those are the tanks. They have like a turret. They're like a transport tank that holds Space Marines in it, and then it has like a nice turret that shoots. And then I think, is that a Whirlwind on the right? I can't tell. It might be a Rocket Whirlwind. I can't tell. It could be just Razorbacks.
I think all the way in the back.
Yeah, I was looking all the way in the back. Yeah. But this is really cool. Like,
no, those are Whirlwinds for sure.
Yeah, right. That's what I thought. In the middle. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then I think those are statues too, right? In the middle part, maybe those are statues, or those can't be dreadnoughts. Those look too small for dreadnoughts. What are those?
No,
Sentinels? Are those Sentinels? Could those be Sentinels with guardsmen?
With servos?
Yeah, maybe.
They're possible.
Maybe. It's really cool. It's just well lit. Keep in mind, it's in a spaceship. Like, this is in a spaceship. How cool is that?
Well, the spaceships are city size sometimes. You know what I mean?
So
These
sick.
are crazy.
Yeah, this is so massive. So I think it's just brilliantly executed. And then you have the Ultramarines logo up there, which is the branch of Space Marines that are blue.
Chapter.
The chapter, yeah, correct. I call branch, like they're like a legal department. So
we just got sued by the Ultramarines again.
Yeah. And then as you can see here, they're clearly dragging something in a box. And I'm excited to talk about that. Spoiler alert.
It's important on this.
It's alive.
They do tell you that. Well, no, but like one of the things is you go back and you look at who they are. This is a unit which is amazing.
Yeah.
Because this is new. They're all Primaris.
Yeah. And then if you look in the background right here, it's a little foreshadowing for us super fans. You get this drop pod, and man, is it like the perfect size. And you see the ramps coming down, and they're just going to get in this pod and shoot straight down, just dragging a psyker with them to go down and do this mission.
You're spoiling it. Nobody knows what's in the box.
What's in the box?
It is funny that this drop pod, they used it for Space Marines, and then they tried to use it with regular humans, and all the humans died.
They all became like a goo.
Yep.
Because it just goes so fast and hits so hard.
Yeah, they just shoot it out like a bullet.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Ooh, we got some remnants. We got some remnants of some chaos here. Some Tzeentch spells coming in the sky. Tzeentch is one of the chaos gods. He is the magic-y one. Look at how fast that came down. See, it's like literally shot down like a missile.
Secrets, forbidden lore.
Drop pod hit. Guys come out. Fields and everything. Here's all your scanning that you talked about. I think they captured the movement so well. I mean, the Marines, they have some big armor, bulky armor, but they're moving so appropriately.
So yeah, the thing is Marines move so quickly. And I love this because these guys are fearsome warriors. They're coming at them with pretty big weaponry and everything else too. They're just taking it in stride.
I wonder how strong the box is where the psyker's inside. Like if that took bullets, I'm sure it would do nothing. I'm sure it's like some type of carapace armor.
I bet you the whole thing's made of ceramite.
Yeah, right. Ceramite armor. Very strong stuff.
This is in the game how it should be, though. Like, these guys just taking on waves of idiots.
So that's... I'm going to pause it right there. So for those who are watching, I think they made that plasma pistol quite perfect. Like, it looks like a plasma pistol. It looks like it's literally charging some type of plasma ion. I don't even know how a plasma pistol works. I should probably read that. I don't know if there's a book that explains it, but it's freaking cool. It's really cool that he has a plasma pistol and he's just ready to unload that thing. So I love this. I love how they're all aiming at the same time.
We also haven't talked about the fact that the sergeant, the leader of the squad, he comes with a different colored helmet.
Yeah, he's got a red helmet
to signify who he is.
Yep. He also he's also the guy with the pistol, which is very like miniatures appropriate, right?
Yep.
They're just absolutely wrecking these dudes, which they should. And yeah, it's just sad. And for those who haven't played the miniatures game, like in the miniatures game, like they make it everything fair. So like, yeah, these guys in the miniatures game could technically kill some Marines, but this is about the lore. This is about the story. And this is the story here.
Exactly what should happen. Yeah. Especially when you're talking about a squad of Blade Guard, of veteran Blade Guard, you know what I mean? They're not getting stopped by this is effectively a Necromunda biker gang, you know what I mean?
Yeah. By the way, that was my favorite part earlier where he smashes the dude's head.
Oh, upcoming is my favorite part. When the dude on a motorcycle is about to find out what happens when you try to ride down a Space Marine.
Yeah. Keep in mind that like the Space Marine armor is way stronger than anything these guys have.
Oh, here it comes, baby.
Is that like their version of a Predator?
Yeah, I mean it is. They're either I didn't know if this is an autocannon or a heavy stubber because it's a smaller thing.
I actually felt like it was an assault cannon.
It could be any of those, to be honest with you. They all come with the same look. Oh, that's the best part, dude. He just walks through that guy. Oh, pull that back again. I want to see that dude running through.
He lightly sprinted through.
He just fucking puts his shoulder down and goes, hey, You're coming at me with your motorcycle? Yeah, good to hear, bro.
It's actually like a buggy. It's like a full-on car. It's a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Oh, it's an armored vehicle. It's an armored motorcycle.
And you're dead. Grenade.
Yeah. I love Fragonade in there. Kaboom! Then they just slap the melt-a-bomb on the side like, ain't nothing but a thing. Dude, I miss this in the game. Remember when melt-a-bombs used to be way cooler? You could use them in a hand-to-hand.
Yeah.
Because that's what should happen. You should slap a bomb on it and just right there, and that happens.
And it's gone. Mini nuke.
And you know what I do miss, which we're about to see? The psychic phase.
Oh wow! Look at this. Yeah.
Now the biggest thing that they're doing this is pause on this. One of the things they have to do is they want to basically blow this place up from orbit, but it is heavily cloaked and they're not 100% sure where they're supposed to go, what they're supposed to blow up. And they've got, which is why they've got the guy in the box, which you'll see in a minute. They have to basically break the psychic shielding that they have here.
Yeah.
So they have to get there.
Yeah. There's like a psychic portal over this area, or like a barrier, basically. Yeah. As they walk through, that's why you see these little flames.
Oh, and this is wild. They're just in the middle of corruption right now, where this warps reality. Basically, they're going to be effectively most of the fights that are coming now are actually fighting their mind. They're attacking their mind and their soul.
Not yet.
I'm saying, like, coming up. I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make sense unless you're like, what are they doing? Because they keep having visions and everything.
Yeah, they're just subtly going into the demonic realm.
Yeah. Like, yeah, good to hear. We'll figure it out.
What a sick edit, by the way, right there. This little camera pivot is amazing. So it clearly lets the viewer know that they're going into darkness. Like, there is something here. These are our horrors. These are Zinch horrors, I think, right? Or Zangors, right? Zangors, maybe.
Zangors.
Yeah.
It's because they're going effectively into the Zinch
Look at that
power.
Look at that.
Guy.
I can't tell if it's their blood or the plasma gun that's making me very excited.
Oh, it looks so awesome, dude.
These guys also not a match for these four, right? These Zangors they're like lesser demons. They're not really.
They're just followers.
Yeah,
they're mutated.
They're mutated followers. Yeah, and
I mean, there's entire Zangor planets now.
Yeah, they can't really do anything to these four guys, but as they move forward, they brought that box for a reason.
Oh, poor psychers in the 40K
wow,
world.
Look at this. This is such good. This is like such absolutely epic, like storytelling, scene making, cinematography.
Well, look at this. The statues.
The scale.
Off to the
side. Scale. Yeah, the scale. The statues. Like you can see. Like, oh yeah, these guys are somewhat different. Man, look at that. Lord of Change.
That's so badass.
It's the Lord of Change.
They would have been fucked if he was there.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Lord of Change is no joke. I don't know if they would have totally been fucked, but yeah, they probably would have. You're probably right.
I mean, still.
Yeah. They fight a very, very powerful demon prince here. So, Stryker, it's time for you to make us a barrier. So here's the Adeptus Space Marine Imperial Psyker. Dude is blind, first of all, hooked up because of his psychic enablement. They got all these like little nodes and diodes and things in the back of his skull here.
They do. And by the way, putting one in a box like that seems terrible. That was probably one of his best days.
That was like the best day of his life. Like, you know,
yeah.
like
they do so much awful shit to the Psychers.
In the grim dark future of the 41st millennium, Psychers still have it worse than everyone else.
Yeah. Oh man.
So he gets out of this box. By the way, what I mean by that is like he knows everything that's happening. So while he's in that box, he knows the outside world. He could sense all of it. Like that's what the Psychers are. They're more than just regular human beings, and that's why they brought him, so that they can get that extra support from him, making them a shield while they try to blow up this gigantic symbolism of the Lord of Change. This statue here, this relic statue. Here's where things start to shift. This demon prince can use time manipulation.
Well, that's one of the Tzeentch powers. Yeah. Is they've always been able to warp time.
And now that he's finished off the Psyker, poor guy, I feel bad for him. Damn it.
I mean, he might be okay.
He had the worst day, like the worst day. Poor guy. They put him in a box. They brought him down here. He was probably like, man, this sucks. Made the force field. Force field is working great. They were killing the relic statue, and then the demon prince takes this dude out. So they obviously didn't know what they were probably up against. Well, maybe they did, because obviously death is absolute. But here's what happens when they didn't have the Psyker, right? So you're going to see this demon prince basically manipulate the deepest, darkest fears of all these Marines, and they're not supposed to have fear. So it's interesting to see whether there's anyone that's going to be able to overcome the corruption,
withstand
it.
Yeah. He's psychically assaulting them.
Yeah.
He's attacking their mind, but also when you psychically attack somebody, you're effectively attacking their soul.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough to brace for a soul attack.
So let's see what happens here. I'm not going to pause much. I want this to kind of fully play out, and then we can talk about the end here. Man, he's so badass, by the way. They just nailed him. Like, they nailed him. His back, his extra arms, the way his limbs come out, his speed here.
I love this part.
This is symbolizing the fact that he's in his mind.
Yep.
Rip the man out of the Marine outfit and kill him. Yeah, wow.
I mean, he's a powerful Psyker.
Yeah, I mean,
come
on, man.
Owning the squad.
Come on, dude. He's insanely powerful. That's crazy. The way he moves in here, I think, is awesome as well.
Well, this is how warp time's supposed to work.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's
but,
why you get that.
But he sees his own friend fall. He's still stuck. Yeah. You can tell that he saw him coming in, and then he opens his eyes. So you see, he's getting into deeper powers here. First guy was a little easier to kill. This guy, he's going deeper.
Filled with pain and rage. You chose a child.
Corruption. Corruption here. This is all about corruption.
Yeah, he's talking about Titus here. He's saying he chose the child of never know fear. Because he's trying to get into Titus's greatest fears right now. Oh yeah, you know what I give a shit about? Again, I felt that I gave you the grand total on the profit loss statement. 0. Well, that dude didn't fare well.
Nope.
Well, Titus is spot too. Because he goes into his mind.
Yeah. He just sees that boy. He sees that boy.
Sees the kid. He's like...
So much for your time abilities, buddy. And That's it for you. Wow. How sharp is that combat?
I mean, I was going to say, he's got a combat blade.
I know. So sharp.
Target confirmed. Ordnance inbound.
So to finish off the job, they blew up the place enough so that the psychic barrier was no longer affecting the readings. And they've also now signified where it is. So now the ship can actually just finish the job.
Die well, brothers.
However, he's got a different plan.
Yes, he does. Because they know they damaged the relic enough, and the roof is caved in, so they know the bomb is coming in. And honestly, they could bring all of these dudes. These Marines would kill them all. Like, they wouldn't even stand a chance anyway. So the guys coming in mean nothing. Really the only risk to them at this point is being in the radius of the explosion of their own blast. Yeah, of their own blast. That's like the only thing that really.
Our duty is done. It's time to go. Not yet, old man.
Slams on his helmet. Nah, ain't going out like that.
Yeah, nah, bro. I got this.
In the story for this, he kills all of them.
Easily.
Yeah.
He's probably mad right now. He's got this.
What could a soul like that be capable of?
A lot, let me tell you.
It's badass, dude. I mean, I just really feel that they captured this so well.
Yeah.
I love everything about it. I was very happy with this. I was really worried when I saw that when they said they were doing a 40K on the Amazon, because I was worried that it was going to be either too close, you know what I mean, or like kind of lame or whatever.
Yeah, I'm still worried a lot about the Henry Cavill thing.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be, you want it to be awesome because you want to see more projects get pushed forward. You know what I mean?
Well, the way I look at it is, I'm a big fan of the community and of the tournament scene. I think it's the best. I've been going to a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff, Age of Sigmar stuff. I've been trying out other things, and I think 40K is a very unique and large community for the competitive area. And I don't know what model sales are going to be like in 10 years, but if GW can capitalize on their IP, they can keep the game going, which would be great. And I think
100%.
that should be their strategy. I think
they should be pushing the IP. I'm actually surprised that it took them this long to push more of this stuff out, because they've had content before, and they've had some good hidden mice. Like I really like a lot of the stuff on Warhammer Plus, the Hammer and Bolter stuff, but they just don't put out enough stuff.
Yeah,
and like it's not.
Well, I don't necessarily. I don't think they need to be a app or an app with content or a content maker or a content. They should be partnering with the Amazons and the Netflixes,
100%,
and the Hulus and stuff like that to make to make this. That's what I would do.
That should be selling their. They have to be basically selling their IP to people.
Why isn't there a 3-series, 10 episodes per series, Blood Bowl animated comedy?
Oh,
why doesn't that exist?
Everything.
Why doesn't that should just exist?
Awesome.
That should exist. That script almost writes itself, and it would be hilarious.
Play the Goblin team with the chainsaw and over the Poe
It would be hilarious content. It would be amazing content. It would be very fun to watch. Right? Like, you can make that. Like, there's so much you can make. I mean, there's hundreds of different stories that could be told. It doesn't have to be about the Horus Heresy. It doesn't have to even be about Space Marines. If it is great, this is a great way to tell the Space Marine story.
100.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is I think that telling the story, though, and making it more personal, you know what I mean, is the better way to go. Because it's hard to understand, to get into the mojo of a Space Marine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're so far beyond. Yeah. It's a super soldier. You're like, okay, they have to get into what the grim dark of being a Space Marine. You know what I mean? It's duty, or You're a super soldier.
Yeah, they see these four guys there, these guys that are hundreds of years old, but the general audience doesn't understand everything that it required, right? Like it's like one out of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, are selected, and then out of all of those selected, like one out of like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands actually becomes a Space Marine. And then out of that, like, you know, one out of the next 10,000 becomes an honored, like a lieutenant or something like that, or something bigger, you know, and then even,
those are Blade Guard veterans.
Those are Blade Guard veterans. Yeah. That's even higher, right? Like it gets higher and higher and higher and higher. You know, I don't know who becomes a Grey Knight or who becomes a Custodian. I don't remember it off the top of my mind, but like there are like levels.
Custodes are their own process.
Yeah. Custodes are their own process. But I mean, I'm sure that even a smaller fraction gets selected for that, you know, and a smaller fraction for Grey Knights.
With the Deathwatch.
Yeah, and a smaller for Deathwatch. Deathwatch is like you know, Kill Team 6, so like Special Forces, you know, so like each of these, so like that kind of there's a lot to unpack there for like the general audience. So I think something like this is really good, like where it's just a quick story, limited dialogue. You know, I
really hope they do more of this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't know how they would do it, right? Like a Blood Bowl 10 episode thing makes sense to me. An Eisenhorn 10 episode thing makes sense to me. Kane, Rogue Trader, those make sense to me. Those would all make sense.
Kane, Rogue Traders, Eisenhorn. I think even like Eisenhorn's the easiest, to be honest with you. Eisenhorn already exists.
Detective.
He's basically a detective.
Batman.
Yeah.
It's like Batman in the 41st.
I mean, he does, but he's also a dude.
Yeah, he's a dude. He's a dude. Yeah, yeah.
The problem is we've already done so many stuff with, you know, all the armed forces stuff, you know what I mean? We have already. You know what I mean? If you want to do something that you have to I want to embrace the fantastical part of it more. Embrace the Eldar, like chaos, you know what I mean?
Totally agree.
The horror of I love Tyranids.
No, I think if they do Guard, they have to do Kane. They have to do Kane. Kane is the best Guard story you could tell.
Yeah, he also goes all over the place. He hangs out with the sisters.
Correct.
He gets, you know, I mean, he has all those. He has a kind of a wacky cast of characters.
But it would be hard to tell the Space Marine story. I think. I don't know. It would be tough. It'd be tough. I mean, I guess Horus.
I think you do it in more stuff like this.
Yeah, but this doesn't have dialogue. I mean, that 20 minutes had, I don't know, 7 lines of dialogue. Maybe it had like an opening monologue and an end, couple sentences, and that was pretty much it.
But you could do like missions and stuff. What they do, you know what I mean? I don't know. You could do one. I mean, it'd be nice to see like the different chapters and how different they are, because the different chapters fight and act wildly different.
Hard. It's just really hard to capture all that. You know, it's hard to tell that story.
Salamander's so much different than an Iron Hands or a
Salamander is a division of the Space Marines, by the way. It's a legal team on the 5th floor, and the Iron Hands are on the 6th floor. So, but these are just different chapters.
Everybody knows that, bro.
Everybody knows that. Yeah,
everybody knows what floor they're on. Come on.
Yeah, no, I think. I don't know. It would be hard for me. It's hard for me to come up with the idea. I'm sure someone can come up with the idea smarter than me on like how to make a Space Marine show. It's just so tough because I feel like Space Marine, like what do you want out of a Space Marine show as a fan? Because I know I want just basically bolter porn, and that's what this is. This is like 16 minutes of bolter porn with like the coolness attached to it, right? A little bit of like be a man and go out and kick ass and have no fear.
Once you have more episodes of something else to draw people in, I think you can do bigger stuff, because I think the Horus Heresy is too big. It's just it's
gigantic.
Too grand.
Yeah, it's gigantic. I don't even know like where you would start. Like,
yeah, because you have to go into the Crusade and everything.
Yeah,
else,
it's
impossible. All that shit happens. There's just so many things that happen that don't make any sense unless you set up the world.
Yeah, you know? I mean, they've told other really big stories. I mean, like what's that sci-fi show that like is kind of the basis of a lot of things. It's on
Foundation.
Yeah, Foundation. That's what it's called. Yeah, Foundation's a huge
that
story.
spans 6,000 years.
Yeah. It's a huge story, and they're telling it really well in the series. I think the series is good. I like the series a lot. I'm not a huge fan of them changing some of the genders of the main character, but I like the show in general. I think it's very good. and I think if you could tell Foundation, you could probably tell the Horus Heresy. You just have to be very crafty.
It's just big.
Well, you have to be crafty. You have to figure out what parts are not as relevant, what parts are really for fans and for the reading.
It's hard though,
and what parts are not as relevant. No, I don't think it's that
hard. A lot of people.
You could start at. You could start at Istavan 3. You don't have to do any of the precursor. You don't have to do any of the Luna Wolves.
Who are you following?
Yeah, I think that's. I think you follow Loken. I think you follow Loken.
You just follow Loken. You just go to the flight in Eisenstein.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, that's exciting there, but I'm saying like you have to be small to be
Correct. Yeah. No. You're not going to cover 50 something books. Yeah, of course. But like, what story would you tell first? I think you would first tell the story of brotherhood, betrayal, and you end at like, you're basically ending at the Empire Strikes Back kind of. Everything sucks. and then you can create another series. So that would be 3 seasons, and then you can create 3 more seasons or 3 more movies, whatever you want to do.
But I'd like to see, again, I think it'd be easier, more relatable if you do Eisenhorn, who's an Inquisitor, basically.
Oh yeah. No, I'm fully in agreement with you on that.
I know. I'm just debating on where you go with Marines.
Oh, but if you wanted to do the Horus Heresy, I think false gods and the Horus Rising, and like a little bit of maybe you tell the story of how the Emperor became as well. I don't know. Like you weave that in there.
It's tough though. I mean, he's 40,000 years old.
Yeah, I know. But you weave in like the Thunder Warriors, and you weave in like the creation of the Primarchs.
So long at that point in time. To be fair, couldn't you just do something like a Titus thing, but while he's Deathwatch, like basically how the game goes a bit in Space Marine 2.
You could
do more. It'd be because you could do more mission based, and they could interact with things.
Yeah, you could. I just don't know how much like there is there in terms of like meaty dialogue / like extra.
I mean, there could be a lot though. I'm just saying because they go into like all kinds of different stuff. You know.
Yeah. No. There's definitely content. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying it's hard to.
I mean, it's a big freaking world.
How do you tell the story where the average person is going to be interested, not someone who knows Warhammer, right?
It's easy for me to pick up right away because I know all of the background of 40K.
Correct.
So I can go, I get super excited about seeing this, but you're like, oh yeah, I've got 30 years of 40K knowledge, you know what I mean? I'm going to go, oh cool, this is this, and this is this. The regular person watching is just like, what am I doing here?
Yeah. But closing statement from me, it was awesome. I loved it.
100%.
I've shared it with so many people that have nothing to do with 40K. Even my mom watched it. Everyone I've shared it with, everyone I shared it with thought it was really cool. A lot of people thought it was a little too violent.
Oh, I mean, it is bananas.
Well, I thought that was great feedback. I was like, that's perfect. That's what it's supposed to be. So thank you. Yep. So yeah, I loved it.
I give it 2 thumbs up.
Well, that's 2 thumbs up from Chester. All right. Well, that is all for today's episode of the Chapter 416 podcast reaction episode. I am Pajama Pants. That is Brad Chester.
This guy.
If you like our podcast, please feel free to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to know when the podcast actually has a new episode. Hopefully it's every Monday. That is our goal and our intent. Otherwise, catch you later. You